Hey, what's going on here? Strat Soldier here with the weekend shift. And we are here live. We got how many people in the chat? Give me. It is on. Hello, welcome to the weekend shift. Strat Soldier here. Someone said in the chat that the intro is still running, so I'm going to say my intro again. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. We are live. We are live here on Separate Group, and it was a interesting week. Holy crap, it was an interesting week. 21 people in the chat so far. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We got some first timers. Awesome. Thank you so much. It was a lot. It was a pretty choppy week. I'm not gonna lie. It was choppy. It was tough. If you made money this week, awesome. If you did not make money, hopefully you stopped out and you took small losses. Good. And if you did not make any money, you didn't do anything, you stuck to your rules. That's good. That's important. It's okay. You don't have to be doing this every single day. All right. If you just want to sit out and wait until everything settles, and then you know where the buyers are coming in at or the sellers are coming in at, depending on what you do, that's great. Sticking to your rules. That's what I want you to do. And that's what Scipio Group and Rob wants you to do. Stick to your rules. Hello. Hey, we got the UK out here. We got Rob. We got Rob I. We got Whiskey Ginger. Heck yeah. We got Paper Rhino. We got Josh Taylor always here. Sunshine from the UK. We got Megan. We got a lot of people out here. That's awesome. Keep it coming. The chat is live, so I'll see you guys' questions up. Let's go over what happened in the broader averages real quick. We're going to be talking to, here we go. We are going to be talking to, excuse me. We're going to be talking to Jam Trades out here, and he's going to be showing us how to use pivots. Ooh, we got, man, we got a lot of people out here in the chat. The chat is global, I tell you what. All right, here we go. This is the broader averages here. Here's S&P 500. We are 2 down on the month, but it's green, okay? 2 down on the month, but it's green, and it's probably going to end up being an outside month, all right? And that is going to be interesting because you got your scenario 3 here. You got a scenario 3 here. And then you got a 2 up, and then you got a potential scenario 3 here. So 3 months, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what they want to do. Here is the week, 2 up on the week. And that 2 reversal on the week went in force at 466. All right. And you can see our binding formation on the week. It's pretty close to taking that outside month. That's what we're talking about. All right. We'll see what they want to do. Here's our daily charts. See, test the highs, test the lows. There's our binding formation. And then here's our 60s for Friday. Okay, here's our 60s for Friday. I have all my screens up just like this for time frame continuity. So when I see the month is green, the week is green, the day and the 60 are all green, I know there's a high probability that there's buyers in there. Same thing with the red. Okay, anytime in this month here, back in November. Anytime the month was red, the week was red, the day and the hours were red, I knew they were selling it. Okay, that's what time frame continuity is about. I say this every episode. Time frame continuity is about color, not necessarily the scenario. Okay, so this right here could be way down here and green. Okay, this could be way down here inside in green. And then you got a 2 up on the day green and a 2 up on the 60 green. That's still full time frame continuity to the upside, even though it's, not 2 up on the month or week. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I know it's a little tricky, but time frame continuity is about color. Okay. It's about color. You don't necessarily need to wait for a full time frame continuity. There's a few comments in the chat about that. You don't have to wait for a full time frame continuity to trade the strat. But you daggone, it puts you in a more highly probable situation. At a minimum, you want your 60s and your dailies to be full time, to be the same color. Okay, you at least want, they're buying it today. They're buying it right now on the 60, and then they're buying it today on the daily candle. They're buying it today. You at least want those together, right? But then you know, once you learn the strat, you know what you're doing. You can do some tricky stuff like, okay, the day is red, but my 60s are green. It's reversing back to the upside, and that my hammer, my 2-2 reversal is still in force on the week, and it's still green on the month. I mean, once you start, once you understand the strat, you can do some little tricky things like that. All right, we got some awesome everybody out there in the chat. Keep it coming with the questions. Can I close this? Well, if I question in the chat, can I close my charts? Can I close my watch list so my charts are bigger? I want to go through some stuff real quick, but yes, I will do that. Let's do this. Let's go to this screen and talk about the scenarios real quick. How about that? Is that bigger for you? Is that better? All right, question in the chat about broadening formations. All right. I want to get the jam trades, but question in the chat is if I could, when you're drawing broadening formations, what do you want to do it on? The month, the week, the day, the 60? Honestly, I say do it on the month so you know what's going on. Do it on the week, and then you can have them. You can have them on the days in the 60s. You're just going to be updating those on the days in the 60s because it'll expand. Okay, so you don't want a ton of lines on your screens, but at a minimum, definitely the week, the month, and the week. All right, so here are the scenarios. I got my labels turned on for the kids in the back. We believe everything trades. There's only 3 ways anything can trade. All right. Scenario 1, inside bar. Okay. Scenario 1. Notice it doesn't take out either side of this previous range right here. Okay. I'm going to mark this. All right. Notice that. See this? Let me zoom it in for you real quick. Look at that. This bar did not take out anything of this previous range. Okay. The wicks matter. We count the wicks. Okay. All right. And then when it comes to scenario 2s, here's a perfect example. Scenario 2 down, scenario 2 down, scenario 2 back up. But scenario 2 only takes out one side of the previous range. Okay, 2 down, 2 up. Okay, and then you have your scenario 3, which is right here, and that takes out both sides of the previous range. And the most important thing about this candle is it on a smaller time frame. This is a broadening formation. Okay, this candle, decisions need to be made. Am I staying this thing? Am I getting out? What am I doing? Was this reversing to the upside? Is it reversing to the downside? What's it going on? All right, scenario 3. Everybody's got a plan until a scenario 3 punches them in the face, and then you got to change plans, right? Ron C out here, fantastic. All right, so those are my 3 scenarios right here. So, and then what we do is we take these reversals and we put them into, we talk about reversals. Okay, here's a 2-2 reversal, 2 down, 2 up. All right, you also got your 2-1-2 reversal, 3-1-2 reversal. All right, then you got rev strats. All right, now there is a combo sheet out there. You'll see it on my Twitter. You'll see it on Sarah Strat Sniper. You'll see it on hers. Those combo sheets show all the reversals. Now, remember, that only talks about one thing. That talks about actionable signals. You need 3 things to trade the strat: actionable signals, time frame continuity, broadening formations. You need all 3. All right, you need all 3. Broadening formations tell you where the price is gonna go. All right, if there is no reversal against me, I know the SPY is going to go. I know it's going to take out 473. All right, I know that. Know that for a fact. If it doesn't reverse on that, we get a 2 up next week. We got a 2-2 continuation up next week. It's going to take that out. Real quick. Things that worked from last week's vid. Apple. Bam. Oh my goodness. We were looking for some downside actually because of the shooter here, but it didn't. Did it do that? No. It went 2-2 continuation up. All right. 2-2 continuation up. A lot of trades were stuck inside this week. Okay. So I didn't do much. I worked FedEx. And and a couple other things worked. Boeing. We're looking for the 2-2 reversal on Boeing. That one worked. 2-2 reversal up, didn't hit magnitude, you would have had to push your stops up and go ahead and take your profits somewhere in here on the dailies. Real quick, cat tractor, we got our 2-2 reversal up, didn't hit magnitude. Again, you would have to push your stops up and take your profit there. Johnson & Johnson worked. My goodness. Johnny John, 2 up, 2 down, 2 up. This is what I'm talking about. These scenarios, scenario 2 down, 2 up. And then we took all these guys out. Here's my broadening formation, okay? We took all these guys out all the way up here. Bam, 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 bam. You talk about pivot machine gun. Johnny John did it. FedEx. Man, I took this FedEx right here. I took FedEx down here. And I put my stops even. I got stopped out with, let me go back to the dailies. I got stopped out when this 2-2 reversal went in force here. I got stopped out here. All right. So, and then it went 2-2 back up. Not the end of the world, but that was what happened to FedEx. I wanted that one to keep running. We'll see what happens next week with Johnny John. Crude. How about crude? Yeah, we'll look at crude. We're gonna get to jam trades. UPS. If you're looking at FedEx, you can look at UPS. UPS 2-2 reversal on the week right here. All right, that's when you would have hit it on this bar right at 205.98. And we're looking to take all these guys out, but you could still be in that. Okay. A good one, CHRW. This one definitely took them all out. 2-2 reversal, 2 down, 2 up. It did gap up. You could have got in at 97.90.64 and took all these guys out. All right, this one, CHRW, still good. UNP, that was a good one, all the way to the top of the broadening formation on the weekly. 2 down, 2 up. Let me see here. Costco, my goodness. I know Costco's working because that's where all my money goes. My wife's like, I'm going to Costco. Like, oh boy, here we go. Costco still getting it. 2-2 reversal yesterday on Friday. 2 down, 2 up. Bam. And then Rob says it all the time. The 3-2-2. That was a good one. From the weekend vid, still looking. Microsoft was still back up to the highs. Back up to the highs on 2-2 reversal week. This was sitting in for inside week for most of the week. Okay, that happened to a lot of things here. I'm trying to scroll down here, find you the good ones. Overstock. We were looking for some downside on overstock, and you got it. Oh my goodness, overstock to the lows. Let's see here. This one. Flav, you got your 2-2 reversal up on Flavor Flav. Didn't go very far, but it still worked. Pepsi, 2-2 reversal to the upside. It gapped up right on Monday and just kind of sat around, did this a little bit, but you got your 2 down, 2 up. A little wonky in here, but it did work. All right, it did work. All right, that was a good one. Pepsi, Mondelez, also good one. All right, here's your weeks on Mondelez. 2-2 reversal, back up. 2-2 reversal, back up on Mondelez. 2 down, 2 up. Took out the magnitude here. You could still be in that on the daily. If you didn't get in on that on the week, you could have took this guy here. 2-2-2-1-2 reversal. 2 down, inside bar, consolidating. Okay, and then 2 back up. 2-1-2. All right, that's how you would have got in on that. That's a good one. Mondelez. All right, and then Tesla. Let's look at Tesla real fast. Everybody was hollering about Tesla doing this, Tesla doing that. All right, it's got a big range, so you can trade it on 60s and dailies. All right, but on the week it still went 2 down, didn't do very much. On the day, you got your 2 down, 2 up reversals here, and then it went 2 down. People took their profits. And then Friday, all right, 2 down, but then started coming back up. On Friday, people were talking about Mr. Hayes. A shout out to Mr. Hayes, was in the chat, a longtime friend of Rob Smith. You got your 3-1-2 right here, 3-1-2 reversal on Tesla on the 60s, and you could have gotten in on this. All right here on this bar, 3-1-2 reversal. If you put your stops down here, about right there, you could still be in that, okay? You could still be in that. Nah, I didn't blast all the way to the highs, but that's still some good day trading right there, right? All right. That's going to do it for what I got in the broader averages and also what we went through on last week's vid. Baba, wait, hold on real quick before we get jam trades. I want to talk about Baba really fast because Baba last week, I told him, I said, but they kept, hitting me with Baba. We got to talk about Baba. We got to talk about Baba. So, in the chat, yep, all that stuff has already happened. This is last week's action. Yep, people kept, there's no reversals, there's no actionable signals on Baba, okay? And then I went to the week, still no actionable signals on Baba. Now Baba went inside week, okay? It went inside week, but what did it do on the daily? It went 2 down, 2 up on the daily. And last week I said there's only one way that this thing could go to the highs. There's only one way it could do it, and that's if this thing goes 2 down, 2 up. Go back and watch last week's vid. And it's a little jacked up with the stream. I understand, but this thing went 2 down, 2 up on the 60, and then once it did did this here, it caused the 2-2 reversal on the daily. Oh, let me get my it caused the 2-2 reversal on the daily, 2 down, 2 up. You could have gone in at 118.30 and then work this up here. And you could still be in that depending on where you put your stops. Okay. If you got this on the daily, you want to hold it, you could do that. But we were talking about, catching knives and all this stuff. And why are you guys putting Baba in the chat? And I just thought that was so funny. I was laughing the whole time. I was like, I can't believe it. I got to listen to my crew out here more often. You guys did good with that one, that call on Baba. But okay, so what's Baba doing right now? We're looking at inside bar on Baba. And all right, so now we're looking for the 2-1-2 reversal back up on Baba. Now Baba's got my attention. If Baba gets above right here, 129.45, I might hit it. I just might. All right, that was a good one, guys. That was really fun to watch all week. I didn't trade it. It was good to watch. It was fun. All right, here we go. Let me stop that here. That's going to do it for me, and that's what's going on with the broader averages, scenarios, some reversals, and what happened last week. And I'm going to get jam trades out of here because we got a lot to talk about with pivots. You hear me out there, Jam?
Yeah, I got you, Strat Soldier. How you doing?
Oh, things are good. Things are good, man. Sorry about the long. I'm about 2 minutes over on that, so sorry about that. But yeah, I definitely wanted to get you on here because you're an experienced trader, technical analysis, and how to work pivots. And last week we had a stratter in here talk about elaborating on pivots and why talking about key points and things like that and pivots. And I know all about that, so you are definitely filling that knowledge gap, man. This is awesome. I'm glad you're out here.
Yeah, good to be on. Can't wait to go through it, and maybe we'll get some questions from the people in the chat, and hopefully make it worth everyone's while who's out here joining us on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, seriously. You want to go ahead and share your screen because I know you're voice only. That's okay. While you're doing that, looking in the chat. Yep, Costco, love Costco. Yep. Looking at steel, letter X. Yeah, we could do that. We'll do that later on. Boeing. Yep. Boeing in the chat. Baba. Oh, Sunshine's laughing at me because of Boeing. Oh, or excuse me, Baba laughing at me because of Baba. Oh, and Whiskey Ginger. Yes. Coca-Cola was definitely a good trade last week. I'm not sharing my screen right now, but KO. Yep. That was a good one. Thank you so much there, Jam. That was a good one last week. That's all I got. Let's get. Yep, there you go. Bam. 2-1-2 reversal on the day, and that's Coca-Cola. I mean, that's depending on how much calls or shares, whatever you like to trade. That's a pretty good trade to the upside. Look at that. Beautiful.
$1 move in Coca-Cola is a pretty big move.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, there's a lot of them in there that I didn't take. Johnson & Johnson. I didn't take Johnson & Johnson because you'll hit it and it'll sit there and not do anything. So I didn't take it. And this is the week that it blasted. Okay, fine. You do your thing. Yep. There's another good one. Yep. Bam. Look at that. And how much?
It It was a pretty good week for the defensive stocks. Procter and Gamble. I don't know what Kimberly Clark did. It kind of did nothing, but yeah, McBurgers was up.
Yep.
Coca-Cola was up.
Big burgers.
Yeah,
Oh,
anything that was kind of in that defensive. Kellogg's was probably Kellogg's was not. I don't know the symbol. I don't know Hershey symbol HSY. Hershey's
yep.
chocolate was up. So
Yep.
to me, I'm not a market guru. I'm not a prognosticator. But to me, it's not the sign of a super healthy stock market when the only stocks that are going to the moon are Hershey's chocolate and Procter and Gamble and Coca-Cola. That's usually the stocks people are buying when they think the end is near. So I guess we'll see what happens the rest of this
Yeah.
month.
People need candy bars and Coca-Cola.
Yeah, they're
It's
feeling a
funny.
little they're feeling a little endangered if that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. Real quick. Just real quick. How did you get into the strat and then, trading period? And then how did you get into the strat? And then I definitely want to get into these pivots.
Yeah, so I've been kind of an investor for a long time. I always like kind of actively managing my money. I work for a living, so I've had a retirement account, and always enjoyed kind of picking and choosing stocks for that. I used to subscribe to kind of the theory of Warren Buffett value investing, undervalued stocks on like PE ratios and all that kind of stuff. And so, kind of around the time when I think what kind of brought me to like a higher level of consciousness on shorter term trading, day trading was when it kind of got into the culture earlier this year, or when all the meme mania happened. That would have been like January, very beginning of 2021. The AMC and the GameStop. It was just in the news. I've always, liked to watch CNBC and all that stuff. And I just, I find markets and money interesting. But that period of time, it was on everyone's mind. I said, well, I've, got a little money now and I know a little bit about, or I thought I knew a little bit about markets. So, why don't I take a, small little amount here and put it in, start an account and, see if I can start trading. And I started off with kind of some more classical technical analysis stuff. I was looking at, bull flags and wedges and downtrend lines and this stuff, and just kind of getting my feet wet. And I think the way that I actually got onto the strat was I think I came across a tweet by Alex Options, who you interviewed on the show before. And I think it was actually on the symbol WY Warehouser, which is a paper company. And Alex had posted kind of a thread on Twitter about, why he thought this stock was going from A to B. And he had these, broadening formations drawn. And I kind of started following him a little bit. And, sure enough, price seemed to move in kind of this megaphone broadening formation pattern. I said, well, this is pretty good. And it makes sense, right? I mean, it's kind of a wave-like pattern and you kind of take out the highs and you take out the lows. This looks pretty good. So I started kind of following Alex a little bit and interacting with him. And then obviously very shortly thereafter kind of got funneled back into Rob Smith, the creator of the strat, because that's what Alex was looking at and trading. And I just found Rob's personality and approach to markets just to be infectious. He doesn't take himself too seriously. He's obviously incredibly knowledgeable. He's obviously incredibly passionate and confident in the way that he sees markets and the way that he sees price action. And in terms of putting out learning material and content for people, the dude's just an absolute machine, and I respect what a machine he is, and I just respect the guy's spirit. And so I consumed all of his coaching vids and stuff that he had done during the pandemic, and even stuff that he had done previously when he was working with other companies. I gobbled all that stuff up. It was just so much fun because he takes so much joy in being on the other side of the trade, right? Everybody thinks like, oh, I'm going to buy it, down here at support. And Rob would always say like, no, it's actually going all the way down here. Like you don't understand what triangles are.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was fun because it felt like, we know something that everyone else doesn't know. And it's not like we're smarter than everyone else, but, we can pull back and take a look at the bigger picture and understand how price discovery works. And I just
Yeah.
found that to be very powerful. And so I went in all in on the strat, and I've been trading the strat for about a year. and I love it. Once you see it, like Rob says, you can't unsee it. Even if I wanted to go do some other type of trading methodology today, I couldn't. I just couldn't because I just couldn't buy a 2-2 reversal down, right? You just can't do it. Once you're trading the strat, you can't buy those situations anymore. So you're kind of a stratter for life.
Yeah,
Um,
I definitely 100% agree. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, people show me different things on they show me about indicators, they show me ATR, 9 MSA, they show me all, falling, symmetrical wedges, falling wedges, and I look at it and I will go, okay, I can see what they're doing and stuff like that, and I'll try it out, I'll watch it and I'll try it out and I'll go, no, take it off. I can see what's happening, take it off.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
If somebody's trying to tell me that they've got a theory on a stock and that stock has been inside for 3 months, like I don't care what your theory is. Like, come talk to me, when you get an inside quarter and up actionable signal or something, or an inside month,
Yeah.
Something like, I don't need to be looking at this right now. So everybody will be fawning over, oh, I love this ticker, I've got a thesis on this. If it's inside of a monthly candle that's got an $80 range and it's smack dab in the middle of that thing, I can't do anything with it.
No.
So it's nice to be able to just write things off, and it really narrows your focus and narrows what you really have to think about, because it's like there's only a handful of stocks in any given week that really worth being interested in, because most things are just not doing anything unless you're kind of having a market-wide simultaneous break, in which case you might as well just trade the averages, because everything's going to the moon in that case, or everything's going into the toilet. So that's how I look at it.
I 100% agree. Can you go to Disney real quick?
Yeah,
DIS. Yeah, because someone gave me some, and it was, I don't know, it was a good conversation about stocks, but it was just like in the strat and how we do things, because and it kind of started wrong. So I put in, if you go to the month real quick, I put on Twitter, I said, I'm ignoring this. And I put this on, I'm ignoring this because there's no actionable signals here, because there wasn't. It was 2 down on the month, 2-2 reversal down on the month. Okay, you could see that there. And this is in November. And then on the week, there's nothing. So I put in the chat, and that hammer wasn't there. It was completely solid red bar. Yeah. So I was like, there's no actionable signals here. I said in the tweet, the only way you get a 2-2 reversal in on Disney, then you got my attention. And until then, I'm ignoring this. And another guy, got on here, was like, why would you not get in on Disney? Blah, blah, blah. You got a 2-2 reversal in on Disney. There it was. There it is. Now, did I take that? No, but I knew to ignore Disney. I mean, it only went up a few. I mean, it didn't rocket back into the highs. And if this thing is really going to start shooting back up to the top of the broadening formation through the previous range, I know for a fact I still got time to do that. It's not collapsing. You know what I mean? It's not, at the same time, I'm not chasing it. So you're 100% right. There's, and I said this on Twitter this week too. I'm with the strat, we're just trying to show you what is the most highly probable situation. Now, if people are out here saying that there's a mega millionaire that's buying a bunch of Disney and he's this and that and he's amazing, you should buy Disney too, let me see it in the price. Now I got a 2-2 reversal in on Disney. Let me try and get in on it. But then look on Friday, while the Dow, if you go to the 60s on Friday, it didn't really do much. It didn't do much. I mean, look, where's my reversals back in on the weekly? You know what I mean? Look at that Friday. I mean, that's huge.
It pretty much just followed the averages on Friday. I mean, the averages on Friday just pretty much, tanked the first hour or two of the day, and then kind of just, did nothing. So
yeah, did nothing. So
there don't appear to be any Disney specific buyers in here. They're just kind of following the averages.
Right. And then when Dow Jones was, when Diamonds was 2-2 reversal on this, right there, we got a 2-1-2 reversal back up on Friday, and you go down, and Rob's like, hey, just, this was earlier in the week, but Rob was like, there's only 30 stocks in Dow Jones, go down 30 and find which ones are doing the same thing that the broader averages are doing, Diamonds are doing the main chart, and Disney's is doing nothing, you know what I mean? So,
and Boeing wasn't doing it either. Yeah, Boeing was doing nothing. So
no, but then you look at Johnny John, Johnson & Johnson. Friday wasn't that amazing.
Something must have been, I'm trying to think like what, it was probably, yeah, I don't know if, I
Yeah,
think
it was
Coca-Cola was
Coke.
in doubt. It must have been these XLP stocks.
Yeah,
Coca-Cola was pulling it up.
yeah,
Procter and Gamble was pulling, I know IBM was on fire last week.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
So
it wasn't the big dogs. It wasn't Boeing, and I don't know what Cat was doing, but I think it was a lot of Cat didn't do anything Friday. I think it was a lot of these XLP names were what was really pulling the Dow up on Friday.
yeah, exactly. And that's all I'm saying too. And I think that's exactly what you're saying is after you see the strat, you're like, okay, what am I really looking at? And then what is the price actually doing? You can have all the headlines in the world, but what's the price actually doing? And like I'm with you, I can't ignore a 2-2 reversal to the downside or a huge outside bar to the downside. I was on Friday, I was laughing because Oracle was a strong buy and it was 2-2 reversal, down on the 60s. It's just like, it's hilarious. You go through these screeners and what people are considered strong buys and things like that. And you look at, again, the price action and what's it really saying, what's it really doing.
Yeah,
So
and that's something I might, you bring up a point about, that's the nice thing about, people ask a lot, what tickers do you trade? How do you decide what to trade? When I was first learning the strat, what I did is I only looked at the Dow Jones and I looked at five stocks. Those were the same five stocks every day. And I never went off of them. And I think it's been a couple months since I was doing this, but I think I was looking at like Procter and Gamble, and I was looking at J.P. Morgan, and I was looking at Johnson and Johnson. I think Dow Chemical, and maybe CVX. So I had like a pharmaceutical, and oil, financial, and so when you do something like that, you have a small universe. You can judge how each of them is performing against the Dow, which is the larger index that they're in. And then you can look at them on a sector by sector basis and say, like, well, who's having a day today? Is oil having a day? Is financials, XLF having a day? Is XLP, consumer staples, having a day? And then you can just go to that and say, like, oil is strong. Chevron has got a 2-2 reversal, and it's the strongest one in this group of five. Like, that's my trade. And if the Dow is puking that day, go find the sector out of those five that's puking the hardest, right? And so
yeah,
that's a good way for people who are newer and are bouncing around to all these different, I got to get on Tesla, I got to get on Lucid, I got to get in on AFRM, like you don't have to come in every morning not knowing what you're going to trade. You can pick just a couple of tickers and say, like, these are the names I'm trading. If none of them do anything today, then I'm just going to hang out, and maybe one of them, maybe I get a great setup on Power Hour.
yeah,
Maybe the Dow gives me a simultaneous break, and all these names have a really good end of the day, and then I can just pick the one that's been strongest all day.
yeah.
So that's something I'd recommend to new people is if you like trading tech, then just trade, Q's, Apple, and Microsoft, and see which one's stronger that day, Microsoft or Apple. Because I think on Friday it was definitely Microsoft.
Yeah, and
So
Apple's rocking. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, look at that. It went up $1 or something, a few dollars on Friday, but I mean that whole week, that's amazing.
mhm.
Yeah, and then when you talk about broadening formations, if you're only looking at a certain amount of stocks and you're looking at the broadening formations, you're truly trading it when it goes down, trading it when it goes up, trading it when it goes down, or you know what I mean, trading it when it goes up. You know what I mean? You're truly working it from the top to the bottom, price discovery. I mean that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's we'll talk about the pivots here in a minute, but something I like to do, like I said, when I come in, I added these tickers here at the end because I know a couple people wanted to maybe look at those. But these tickers above Costco, these are, and sometimes it's not even all of these, but these are the only tickers I really ever trade. And I really don't trade Dow Jones that much because the options on it aren't that great. But SPYs, Qs, small caps, I'll trade that, any day where there's something good going on there. And then I just keep it simple, Apple market leader, AMD gives me a semiconductor, Boeing moves around a lot, even though it's inside here. And then Uber is just kind of like my little personal stock. It moves around in a way that I like, and it's, you know, it's a small cap. All these other ones are large caps,
Yeah,
but that's it. And the
that's
thing I
awesome.
like, yeah, the thing I like about this is, if you go back, TradingView lets you go back kind of before the day begins, and you can come in and kind of have, something like a little broadening formation, already drawn, before the day begins. And, um, then you come in, you say, well, what's my expectation on the day? It's like, well, I'm kind of hovering on this micro try. I kind of have a short bias. And then when the day starts, you can, you already have this drawn, and then, you already kind of know where you're going, right? You know that you've got a negative bias, and you're heading down through this try, and there's no guessing, right? You just draw this the night before. You know where you are in the broadening formation. You kind of have your bias. You know that the market on Friday is weak, so there's probably no risk of just Uber blasting off to the moon. This is when you have 4, 5, 6 stocks that you trade exclusively. You can be working the broadening formations on them all the time, and you always know where you're at in the broadening formation series, and you don't have to, because if someone just shouts out the name of a stock that's doing something, I don't like to just type something in and like, okay, here's a stock that you told me is having some kind of a day, but now I got to go back and find, okay, what kind of a try am I in? What's the monthly look like? Oh, it's 2 down on the month, but it's forming a hammer. Is
Yeah,
that good? I don't know what's going on with this stock, right? So I'm not just going to jump in and start trading it. I don't know what the options are like. So stick to the stocks that that you like, and you kind of get to know them. So that's kind of how I like to do it. So I just trade this little basket, and
that's
I don't
awesome.
trade them all every day. Usually 1 or 2 of them will be having something of a day, and that's just what you go to.
That's awesome. That's great advice. That's great advice, especially, and that's probably really good advice for me and for anybody else who's been doing this for a while, because we get to the point where we get overconfident and we start thinking, I could trade it all. I could do anything. And then you're trading something that's inside day, inside week, and you're like, I could do it. I'm good. And you get wrecked, and you're like, you know what I mean? So it's always a reminder to go back to the basics. You know what I mean? Go back to um, how we trade, follow the rules. You know what I mean? I think there's always a point, especially this week. But I think there's always a point in the day when every trader looks at the market, or every stratter, looks at it and goes, we haven't done anything all day. Is this the point where I'm going to start looking at other things and looking how other people are seeing it? Because I'm seeing all these tweets of people making money and blah, blah, blah. And I see every time someone says, I'm putting my stops way down here because this is what I think I'm going to do. This is where, I got to give my trade wiggle room. A couple days later, I get a text, or I see a tweet that says, I'm going to I'm going right back to tight stops. So I think it's awesome. I think it's a great reminder to stick to some stuff that for example, like me all day long, Ford. If Ford is breaking out of if Ford is working for a reversal back to the top of the broadening formation, I'm getting in on that. Look at that. Now it didn't do jack in between. Look at this. It didn't do jack all the way up in the middle there. You can see it chop around in the middle, but you got that 2-2 reversal back up. And look at that. I mean, that's amazing.
I
Why,
was worried. Yeah, I was worried about Ford.
mhm.
Uh, when I thought I was trading Ford in late November, I think when it was up here around 2050. And I remember talking
Yeah,
to some people in Alex's Discord. We thought this thing was going to 21, 22. I mean, we really thought this, the upside for this, and this might be the breakout. But, I was surprised. I thought right here around Thanksgiving, I thought they were breaking it out of this consolidation here.
yeah.
And I thought we were going up, and they brought it all the way back through.
They tested the lows.
It looked like it was running out of gas here too, and just stalling out. I was like, man, this is just going to stall out like all the rest of because look what IWM is doing. IWM's doing nothing.
Yeah,
IDM's been doing nothing all year.
yeah.
And because they did the same thing with small caps. They took it up. I said, here comes the breakout.
Mhm.
Like I did, small caps are going to go to 290 by the end of the year or something. They brought it all the way back down. Ford kind of got caught up in that, but man, it had a day on Friday for sure. And
But there's your broadening formation. Test the highs, test the lows, back up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's amazing. So okay, let's keep it on Ford if you can. And I like Ford because it only moves like 50 cents a day. I get so much criticism for Ford because it doesn't move very much, but I mean it's easy for new stratters. It's easy for people that got a job, day job, work it when it's working. Let's get in the pivots because I don't want to go too far. Me and you can talk, this Strat stuff all day long. Pivots. How can we use them? How do we use them? Pivots. I don't know anything about other than that I know for a fact from our standpoint in the Strat, we're using pivot. We know people are taught to put their stops at the top of the candles because those are known pivots, and we are looking to take advantage of that when their stops are getting taken out because it increases liquidity because stops are, because most trading is automated. But when it comes to actual pivots, let's get into that before we get too far.
Yeah, so I'll clarify something. So there's kind of two different types of pivots, and I think for people that strat, the pivots we're familiar with are essentially just highs and lows, right? So when we talk about pivots, I might, so I'm back in time. This is after the market closed Thursday for Ford, and say, okay, well, where might some of our pivots be, right? So we got one here. You just go back and you just mark recent highs, right? You might put one up here. Got another one up here, up here. So people that maybe have been shorting Ford, we talk about pivots like, this is where they have their stops, right? They're in at the high, they're putting their stops at the high of a previous day, or the high of a previous week or something like that. So when we're coming back through a range, like from down here, the bottom of the broadening formation, these are pivots we're looking to take out. And then sure enough, if we play this forward on Friday, Ford took all those pivots out. So all the people that were short and had their stops on these pivot points is what we call them. All those people got stopped out. When you get stopped out, if you're short and you get stopped out, you have to buy the stock back. So we've got people here, obviously, who want to buy Ford naturally, but then as we blow past all these pivot points, we're forcing short people to cover, which is turning them from sellers into buyers. So that's where you get the double whammy. You get these really accelerated moves. That's why the broadening formations work. That's why coming back through a previous range is what you want to be doing ideally. So the pivots that I'm talking about are not related to that at all. It's a different kind of pivot. So a pivot, it's just, first of all, it's not an indicator because it's not lagging. It's not, it is based on previous price action, but it's static. It doesn't change. So the pivot for the week, the pivot for the day, it stays there all day long, all week long. The pivot for the month stays there all month. The pivot for the year stays there all year. So when we roll over for January, we'll have a new set of yearly pivots on January 1st, and that pivot will stay there for the next 365 days. It cannot move. So even though it does depend on previous price action, it is static, and you can trade off of the set points. And I'll pull it up real quick.
Yeah, you got my attention already. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't need to know the formulas for how the pivots are calculated, but I'll just describe it briefly. You just take the high of the previous time period, the low of the previous time period, and the close of the previous time period, and you add them together and you divide by 3. That sets your pivot for the next. So if you want to calculate the monthly pivot for next month, for January, you just take December's high, December's low, and December's close, add them together, divide by 3. That's going to be your January pivot, and it will not change for the entire month. And you can do it on any time frame. Like I said, you can do yearly pivots, monthly pivots, weekly pivots, daily pivots, and so that's how you get those. And then above and below the center pivot, or just the pivot, you've got these resistance pivots above it, and you've got these support pivots below it. And there's different formulas for those. But again, it's all based on the previous days or the previous week or the previous month or the previous year. It's just based on that price action. And it says, okay, if you had a super big range last year in the SPY or whatever, and you close near the top of that range, then that just means that your pivot for the following year is going to be, high relative to the previous year's pivot. because, the market told you that it closed closer to the top of the yearly range than the bottom. So obviously the market is seeking value higher. So, what does this look like when you flash it on a chart? So let's just look at the SPY. We'll go to the weekly chart of the SPY. And so we can see basically the whole past year. And so I've got my, I use TradingView. And if anybody wants to be able to, if you use TradingView and you want to put pivots on your chart, you just go up here to indicators and you type in the word pivots. And there's something called pivot point standard. It's baked into TradingView. It's not like a community added thing. It's actually part of TradingView. And so you add those. I've added it like 5 times because I like to have all the different time frames up. So I've got my yearly pivots here, and I'll just turn those on. And so these are the yearly pivots for SPY here in yellow, if you can see those clearly. Mm-hmm. So this is the center pivot down here. And then this is the R1. This is the first resistance pivot. If I can drag this arrow up here. And then this is the support pivot, S1 down here. So generally speaking, this is the center pivot for 2021. This is resistance. This is support. And so what you can see is that obviously we know SPY has had a massive year. It's been bullish. Well, like how would you know? SPY has been bullish. It's been above its center pivot all year. At no point this entire year did SPY ever consider coming down and testing even the center pivot, even the midpoint, right? It's just been tracking up to the first level of resistance all year. It hesitated once it finally reached up here. It kind of hung out here for a minute. It based off of the first resistance pivot. It came back, it retested, it hammered off of it, it took off again. I'm telling you what, I mean, if I had to put money on it, we could easily see SPY 483 by the end of the year, because it when you pull back and look at the big picture, it looks like SPY is trucking for this next R2. I mean, it bounced perfectly off of R1 and it's going up. So, that's looking at it on a yearly basis. We can look at it on a quarterly, so what is SPY doing on quarterly pivots? Again, it came up here, tested the second resistance, came back to first resistance, back up. It's been kind of bouncing back and forth between R1 and R2. What's it doing on the month? We might need to go down to the daily now. What is SPY doing on the month? Well, it came down to S1. Hammered off of it, it went right through the center pivot, and now it's hanging out on R1. So these are a good way just to kind of gauge sentiment, right? I mean, right now, SPY is hammering off of resistance, looking to go higher up to a higher level of resistance. So, I mean, this is super bullish, at least on the daily, super bullish activity for SPY. And then, you can even go down and, okay, let's say you want to do your day trading and you want to day trade off like an hourly chart. Let's pull up our weekly pivots. Like, well, what did SPY do on weekly? SPY opened the week right on the center pivot, immediately hammered off of it, and went up above R1 and spent the whole week up here. So as long as SPY this week was hanging out, above R1, there's no reason to think you're going to come back and retest Monday's price area. It never even considered coming back and closing this gap. And then if you want to get down and trade, 5s or 15ers, let's turn on our daily pivots. What did SPY do on daily pivots? This is just one day. I mean, this is like a whole universe of trading activity. So on Friday, SPY opened above R1, which is resistance. So if you're opening above resistance, that's pretty bullish. SPY came down to the center pivot, tested it, rallied off of it, came back to R1, hugged it, and then right here at the end of the day, I mean, this is how algorithms are trading off pivots, right? And I firmly believe, having looked at this, I mean, do you think they told the algos what to do on SPY at the end of the day here? They said when it retraces back to R1, turn the buying algos on and buy it up to R2, right? Yeah. I mean, it top ticked it. I mean, pennies.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, algos, you got to tell an algo what to, trade off of. And these pivots are super popular ways to program an algo, because again, they're set at the beginning of the month or the beginning of the week or the beginning of the day, and they're good for the whole time frame. So if you want to set up an algo, it says, anytime you're at the center pivot, buy. Anytime when you reach R1, sell. And there's a great example of this, a good day trade that I made on Tuesday with Apple. And I'll go back to Apple. I think this was on the 30. And I was looking at a week. I was looking at a weekly pivot, or was I looking at a monthly? I was looking at a monthly. So here's monthly pivot, Apple. And so this is on Tuesday. Apple gapped up. It's this time period right here. I think this is the day right here. Apple gapped up. And at this point, you've got the FOMO, right? Apple gaps up $4, and you're like, damn it,
Yeah.
$4, I'm not, I don't want to buy this, I don't want to buy something that's gapping up $4, but maybe you still want to trade it. And you're like, well, if you turn your pivots on, what's up here? I can see that I hammered off of my weekly pivot, R1, and I'm trucking on my way up to my monthly resistance, R1. What are the odds that when price gets up to this pivot, I'm going to get some kind of a reaction? And I mean, you drill down on this thing. I mean, they bought Apple up to this monthly pivot, and as soon as it touched it, they turned the sell program on, right? So I like these pivots because they tell me what strat reversals do I really want to be involved with, and which strat reversals do I not really have any context for, right? Because on a 30-minute chart, this is a 2 up inside. This is a 2-1-2, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you take these pivots away, and I'm saying, I mean, do you really want to go short Apple right here? I mean, it's gapped up $4 and it's been rallying another $2 all day. And so you get this inside red candle, it'd be a little dicey. I would probably say, if this thing triggers a 2 down, it's probably going to come right back in my face and just keep trucking toward the highs because it's Apple, and Apple's just been a monster this week. But when I'm looking at my pivots, I know that there's something here that the algos are selling against, right? There's a major level here that there's a reason why Apple's probably going to take a break, right? So I've got a reason to think that this reversal is probably going to at least be good for a little bit of distance away, because I've got context. I know where I'm at in space, right? I know that Apple is coming from the monthly center pivot. It's achieved its target now. It's up to its monthly resistance. There's a reason for a little bit of a sell-off here. So if I get a really clean reversal, and this is a super clean reversal because it's switched on and off right on the pivot, this is something I want to sell. Like, I want to take this reversal. Whereas, if I'm just here on this day, say maybe, and I'm coming from the bottom to the top, I don't really want to go short Apple on this day because I know that Apple has its eyes on this level up here. I think these are lower likelihood reversals. Like, I don't have any context, right? Maybe I could turn on a daily pivot or something. But when you get these monthly levels, which are big time levels, and you can take a day trade against a monthly level, that's super powerful stuff. So I'm still trading the strat. I'm still trading 2-1-2s. I'm still trading 2-2s, 3-2s. But if I've got a major weekly or monthly pivot level and I can trade against that, it just gives me much more confidence, right? Because it's not only there's a reversal here, but it makes sense that there's a reversal here because this is a key level that a lot of people are looking at. Algos are looking at it, and it's a place where I want to get involved. And so I think the thing I was looking for and why I went out and found these pivots is, you always want to be trading reversals, right? Because you want to be trading against people and losing positions. But I wanted to know, why is the reversal occurring here? Why not somewhere else? Like, does it make sense that there's a reversal occurring here? And so, with the pivots, again, if you switch to something like, Qs on the daily, this is Friday, the NASDAQ, does it make sense right here? Like, what is this outside bar? Like, this is the 30-minute chart. You got an outside 30 at the end of the day in the Qs. Well, look where you are. It's going 3 right off of the daily center pivot. And oh, what's this too? It's also going 3 right off of the monthly center pivot. When you've got daily and monthly major levels that are sitting right on top of each other, and you get something like a big 3, I'm buying this thing before it even goes. Like, I'm not even waiting for Sarah's 50% roll, right? I'm going with, because what I can do is I can buy it right here as soon as it turns green, and I can just defend these pivot levels, right? And so I get to take this whole ride.
Yeah, drop down to what's that 5 minute? So keep that level. I don't know how you can. Yeah. What's that 5?
3,
yeah, bam! Look at that.
On the
3.
5.
Yeah, perfect. That's
yeah,
awesome.
So I love to pull these up to at least have the context of where am I at in space, right?
Okay.
Look what the Qs did. They failed resistance. They found support. They failed resistance. It hugged the center pivot kind of all day. And then at the end, big outside 5. And it went up. We were just looking at the SPY top ticked. Look, the SPY and the NASDAQ both top ticked their daily resistance pivot at the end of the day. I mean,
that's
the algos are programmed to these levels. Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like 2 things. I like that it's static. Okay. We got some comments in the chat. I like that it's static. As fibs, you can put the fan in where you want, but with these things, they're static. They don't move. Number 2, I like how you pointed out that they use these things to program algorithms. And we know that we are algorithmic traders. I mean, meaning we use the algos in our favor, and you are proving it right now with these pivots. I love that because with my broadening formation, that's what I like seeing, these broadening formations. But these pivots definitely, what you're showing me, definitely, it's more confirmation that, for people that don't trade the strat, because we know these, the institutional buyers are not trading strat. I mean, it's going to get to a point before Rob starts calling me. It's going to get to a point when that's happening, and that they're doing that all the time. But what I'm saying is, most of them are doing this, you know what I mean? And it's obvious they're doing this. And this is just confirmation of what their thoughts are and what they program these machines to do. And, so when there's
let me put it all together for you. What I would call this is the ultimate trade, right? So this is Boeing on Friday, on yesterday. So I put a yellow line at Thursday's high and Thursday's low, right? And I've gone ahead and rolled this forward to the first 5-minute candle of Boeing on Friday. So this is 5 minutes into Friday's session. This is what I'm looking at, right? What have I seen? Well, we tried to go 2 up and we failed hard, right? So aggressive failure. So what are you thinking, right? If you have an aggressive failure taking out the highs, we're thinking 3, right? So we're wanting to go down and take out this yellow line, right? This looks like a 3 in progress. But look at all the extra confirmation you have, because I can do this. I can go higher high, lower low.
I like that tool you're using too, because I always use the extended line to draw my broadening formations. But
this is called disjoint channel in TradingView. What it does, if you've only got one side to draw, it draws you like an equivalent bottom side. It's like the same angle, right? That gives you a symmetric broadening formation.
I like that.
So this is 5 minutes into the session, Boeing on Friday. I've rejected R1 to the tick. The algos were told to gap it up to R1 and start selling, right? I've taken out one side of the previous day's range. I think I'm going outside down to this bottom of the broadening formation, down to the yellow line, which is going to take me down to S1, S2, totally plausible. So roll it forward another 5. Now you might be getting nervous. Uh-oh, there's a hammer. We're going back to the highs, right? If I get short right here, I'm going to get hammered into my face and this is going to suck. Roll it forward one more 5. As soon as you get this rejection off the center pivot, you fail this hammer, and this hammer starts going outside. You know exactly what's happening here. You're going from center pivot to S1. You're going from top of broadening formation to bottom of broadening formation, and you're going outside on the day. I would take all the money in my trading account. I'm not advising you to do this, but when you've got this much confirmation, you're going from R1 to S1, you're going outside day, you're going top. There's no reason not to put as much size as you're comfortable putting on a trade into this trade, because you know what's happening, right? You've got so many things working for you here. And then of course, and then Boeing goes down, it reclaims S1, you get a 2-2 reversal. You can take another trade. You're like, Boeing is so weak, I'll trade it from S1 down to S2, right? I'll take the ride down here again. Sure enough, it goes right to S2. Look where the algos decided to start buying Boeing again. I mean, this stuff ticked to the penny. I mean, now you can take it long, right? This is not a bad trade in itself. This is a 5-minute chart, 212. I mean, this is 204 to 204. That's 40 cents in 8 minutes. Easy, right?
That's awesome.
I mean, it's great stuff.
And you're using another question in the chat. Are you using this to do options as well?
Yeah, you can do. I mean, it doesn't matter how you trade. You can do options. You can do common. The thing too, these pivots for me remove a lot of kind of the fear, kind of the stop out fear, because if you come up here and you want to go short because you can see that you're failing the center pivot and you want to go for the outside day. If this comes back up in your face a little bit, starts to come back in on your stop, you don't necessarily have to put your stop, right here at the top of the candle. You can move it maybe up here just to the other side of the pivot, because this, it's really what you're trading against now, right? And similarly down here, let's say you want to get long off of S2, right? You want to get long and maybe take it for a ride back up to S1. And as you can see, it's coming back down. It's kind of playing around with you down here. But as long as I don't go crashing through, S2 on the way down here to S3, I can stay in. I can stomach a little bit of price action against me there. I don't have to freak out because I know that I'm in a spot where, it makes sense that there's some support here, right? It makes sense that the sellers are a little exhausted because they took Boeing, all the way from R1. I've already gone outside day. I've come all the way down to S2. I don't have to freak out if it doesn't go right away off of this, because I'm kind of trading against a level here.
I like it.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I like to do it.
That's awesome. And it also gives, let's say, so that the S1 pivot, okay. What time is that? Let's just say 30. Is that 30 minutes right there? 30 minutes
That's
into
at
it?
9. Yeah, this is this is right before 9:30. So this would be I think we're coming up on the third.
Oh, this is okay. So you're talking about previous. Okay. You're talking about okay.
Yeah, you can do this on, you can do this on a higher time frame, right? I mean, this is the 30. And so you've got a 3, 1, 2, and a lot of people would, it looks like if you took this 2 down, this 3, 1, 2 down, it looks like it broke the low and then it came back in before it rebroke. But see, I would not have my stop. I would have my stop probably up here on S1, because unless this price is willing to come back through S1 and fight through and come back up to the center pivot, just because this 312 fails, I can it's cheapo options Friday. I don't have a ton of money in this. I can stomach if this thing just wants to chop along S1 and decide to break down later. I can stomach that. That's fine. So the pivots kind of let me know where I'm in space. And I also have a weekly resistance here too that's sitting on this S1. They're really going to have to start buying Boeing if they're going to buy it back up to the center pivot, and they're going to buy it back up past weekly resistance. So if it wants to play around here and I get a couple 5-minute reversals against me, I don't lose my mind. And so these pivots kind of give me peace of mind. I know where I'm at in the game. I know where I'm at on a daily time frame. I know where I'm at on a weekly time frame. Because a lot of times, and we know this from trading the strat, a lot of times it's the second mouse gets the cheese, right? That first, inside bar will break and it'll retrace, and then the following candle it'll fall apart, right?
And that's what I was talking about when you were looking at the 5 minutes, and I wanted to switch to the 30 just because you can go back to the 5 minutes. But that's what I was saying. People, we say all the time, you don't need to be the first one in. You know what I mean? you don't, Rob always says, punch it right in the face as soon as it goes in force. But you don't necessarily have to do that. You know what I mean? If I like this S1 pivot you got here because, okay, there's this big down move. Okay, I know they're selling it, but then you got people trying to buy it back up. But then you got a 2-2 reversal back down, and I'm like, yep. Now I got this pivot as confirmation, and I could now I'm in for the move as well.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? I mean, when they bought this thing back up, and you get this big candle, and you get this this inside red candle, there's only two possibilities here, right? They're either gonna, after this candle right here, you're either gonna get a 2 down, and if you get a 2 down, the idea is you're gonna take that down to S2, or they're gonna buy it back up to the center pivot, right? In which case, you put your stop here, and it's like, well, you can get in on that ride too if you want to. You can take it long. This is the part where this is the super high conviction stuff. So if I got in and I took this if I took this 5-minute candle right here, this on the break, this 2 1 2 down, you can see like my stop. A lot of people would like put their stop like kind of like right on the break of the candle or something, but you can see it comes back in and it challenges it several times, like 20-30 minutes later. It still isn't really breaking down.
Right.
When I see like all these top wicks, like look at the wicking action as buyers try to come back up and buy it past S1. Like they're getting rejected every single time they come back up to challenge this line. So even if I'm like, just a tiny bit in the red here or something, I'm not going to stop out, because like I'm going to make the buyers prove it to me. I'm going to make them prove it that they want to buy it back up above S1, right? Because this weak shooter after shooter after shooter, like that is weakness. That's weakness. So what I will do is I'll get in. I'll have a position based on where I got in right here on this 2-1-2 on the fiver. And when I see all these wicks, I'm saying they don't want to step up and buy it. They're just forming shooter after shooter after shooter. They do not want to step up. I know I'm going to S2. I'm going to be shorting more, right? Because I know that I'm just defending this S1 line. So I'm going to be buying, shorting more contracts. And then when I get this big flush right here, this is a 2-2 reversal shooter. I mean, at that point, I've got such a big position, because I know where it's going, right? They're not wanting to step up here. So
I like it.
That's why I like the pivots. I know where I'm looking for price action. I can use strat entries, and I don't freak out if it goes against me a little bit, because I know where I'm at in space and I know the lines that I'm defending. So
I like that.
I like to combine strat with the pivot levels.
I like that a lot because it's not too much stuff on the charts, and you're still using your actionable signals. You're still using time frame continuity, and then but then also you have static lines that don't move. Which is what I like better than using an SMA, because an SMA moves all around. It's snaking around doing this stuff, but with these pivots, it stays there, and I can have because Rob always says you want your mindset in the other trader. What's the other trader thinking? Okay, is the other trader thinking, man, I really want this to go up? You know what I mean? I really want this to, are they thinking are they gonna buy it or to sell it? You know what I mean? You want to be trading against the losing team, so that the stops are getting taken out and the liquidity moves, speeds up, and so I like this a lot.
And this is not just for day trading. I mean, people, you can use this on your IRA, your investments, right? Here's American Express. This is a trade I took, a longer term trade. This is the weekly chart. This was a 2-2 reversal week off of a yearly pivot. Yearly pivots are major levels. I mean, you can see here, American Express came up, rejected the yearly, finally pushed through, resistance became support. It went, tell me these pivots don't work. Tell me that these algorithms are not trading off of yearly pivots. They are ticking it, right? I mean, this came up, it ticked it, and it sold off, $25. I mean, these are massive, massive moves.
I like that. Can you draw the broad information on this? We got to get, we're going over time. I like it. We're going to keep going. I'm just saying. So I like this because.
Yeah. Look at this. Is there any doubt in your mind that you can buy this 2-2 reversal week in AXP and expect it to go up here, or maybe you turn on your quarterly pivot and say, I know it's at least going from this yearly pivot down here up to this quarterly pivot. I mean, this is a great, great setup, right? It's hammering off of a year. It's hammering off of a quarterly. You get a 2-2 reversal. I mean, that's a great, that was a $9 move in American Express this week.
This is great.
You can just trade weeklies. I mean, you can just turn on yearly pivots, quarterly pivots, monthly pivots. You can do the longer time frames. You don't have to day trade 5-minute charts on this if you want. These are great.
I like it.
Yeah, any time frame you want.
I like it. Go to let me. I know you got some other trades. Go to FedEx because FedEx stopped me out even. I want to see what happened. I didn't lose money on FedEx, but it went hammering for us on the week. Let's see what I don't know. Yep.
So on the year, you could have bought it on the 2-2 week a couple weeks ago. At 227, and you wouldn't have had a weekly reversal on you. Let's go down to maybe the quarterly. Let's see what it's doing on the quarterly. So right now it's on it. It's going shooter off of its quarterly center pivot. This is tough. I would want to see FedEx probably needs to get over 247 and hold if it wants to maybe get up to this quarterly 275, because if you can see how it failed its quarterly pivot and it tried to reclaim it and failed, and it tried to reclaim it again this week and failed. On a quarterly basis, this is weakness in FedEx, right? So we're kind of in conflict right now on the pivots because we're failing. This is the third time that we've failed the quarterly center pivot on FedEx. But if you look at the yearly, we're still kind of coming up off this summer, but the year's almost over, right? The quarter's almost over. So if you pull back and you say, what are we doing? If you say, what did FedEx look like on its weekly this week? It didn't really do anything on FedEx. Did nothing. It just kind of hugged its R1 all week long. Kind of did.
Trust me, I know.
It doesn't know what it wants to do at the moment. It's just kind of playing around on this quarterly. I'll tell you what, next week, FedEx is either going to fail this quarterly pivot permanently and start to really fall away, or it's going to reclaim it and springboard off of it and go after the bigger magnitudes.
Right.
So I would be watching 247. I would not be long under that, and I would not be short over that if I was looking for FedEx.
Go to if you can go to the daily.
Yeah,
I was looking at
perfect. If you get a 2-2 down, if you get a 2 down on Monday, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because it's just confirming the third failure of the center pivot. That's what I mean by context.
Can you
shrink?
Shrink just shrink it down so I can see the bottom of the daily. The bottom of the okay. Where's the bottom of the
way down here?
Oh, okay.
And you know why it's way down here is because FedEx had a pretty volatile previous quarter. So when you're volatile on the previous time frame, your pivots are going to be further apart, right? Because remember, it's high plus low plus close divided by 3. So if you had a very inactive previous time frame, then your pivots are going to be tight together because they're reflecting a previous tight range.
Right. But what I was going to show and what I do like is I got my broadening formation. I'm getting in on this. I don't know what the daily pivot would be doing, but here's my reversal. I'm getting in. I'm working all the way up to this. What was that other level there? The quarterly resistance. Yep, right there. And
it would make total sense if you can get over 247 and claim that and hold it. It would make total sense to head up to R1 275 by the end of the year because it matches up with the broadening formation, right? So FedEx is at the decision point right now, man. Right? I mean, right on the center pivot for the quarter. It's right in the middle of the broadening formation. But once it picks a direction, you can feel pretty good about it because you not only do you have the Strat signal telling you what to do, you have some kind of idea of like why might an algo be buying it up, right? Because a quarterly algo might be buying it from the center pivot up to the first resistance pivot. And so when you can get these pivots to line up with these broadening formations, like that's I like to, have two things kind of married up, right? So, this out here, this is the last trading day of the year, December 31st. Like, would you be shocked if FedEx like was up here at the top of the Broadway formation? Like, of course you wouldn't. So that's what we're looking for. Like, this is a pretty good, illustration of how to combine them.
I like that. I love that because it shows okay, I got my Browning formation, and then I got my hammer on the week. I'm gonna take it, you know what I mean, on my dailies, and then yep, I'll go ahead and work it all the way up to the P level. You know what I mean? This P line. This is called P line, the center pivot, and I know, okay, I got a 2-2 reversal on the daily. I'm, a shooter enforced on the daily. I'm just gonna take my profits. You know what I mean? Just take it. Take your profits. And then it didn't really, if I got my pivot up, it's not really picking a direction yet. Okay. I like this because you could have worked it all the way up to that line, that reversal, all the way up to that line. Okay, shooter enforced, take my profits, and just wait. Because and honestly, if I was looking at this and if I knew about pivots before this week happened, I would have worked it all the way to that pivot line, and then took my profits on that shooter, and I'd be waiting. That's awesome. Yep. I like this a lot.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding.
Exactly.
This is good. This is good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When you get these weekly breaks, you have to be, because you're thinking when you get this hammer break, the magnitude is to take this out, right?
Yeah.
So that's where you want to go. But you say, am I going to get there this week? It's like, well, let's think about it. I got a big fat quarterly pivot sitting in my way. That's, it's going to have something to say about whether we get that magnitude or not, right? So, this is, when this thing came up and rejected the center pivot, and then the following day we formed a shooter on it. Yeah, I'm like, I'm feeling pretty good that I'm at a hefty profit already. It's really going to have to show me something if it's going to blast off and get that magnitude.
I like this too because, and I know we're going over time because I'm starting to learn too. You got my attention because honestly, this is good because stratters will get in here and they're the new guys, and they'll say, okay, I took a reversal on FedEx and it didn't hit magnitude, it failed. Strat doesn't work, blah blah blah. But what I'm going to say is, I like these pivots because it shows clearly. Where a good point would be for an algo to start selling it, and it confirms that there was a shooter on the daily. Go ahead and take your profits on whatever you got in on, and you still made money. I like this a lot. I'm telling you, you still made money on FedEx if you were working those pivots. Saw the shooter. You got in there 241, and then you saw the daily pivot. There, and you saw the shooter on the daily. Move your stops up underneath that daily, and you got stopped out with profit. I mean, that's what all trading. Honestly, my synopsis of trading so far is creating a winning position and then doing whatever you can to get stopped out with profit. I mean, there's people that scale out as they're buying, selling in the strength. You know what I mean? Which is crazy to us. As a strateger, why would you get out while it's selling up? Because what they're doing is they're making sure they get stopped out with profit. So on episode 13 over Thanksgiving, I was telling everybody, especially the new people, you're doing whatever you can to make sure you get stopped out with profit. And we're using actionable signals, time frame, continuity, broad formations to get in on to create a winning position. Okay, now we're in. What do we do? And now we're defending it with our stops. Where do we put our stops? For the new guys out here, okay, for the new people out here, watch this again. I'm going to let Jam keep talking, but and keep showing us, but watch this because it confirms what we're showing on the actionable signals. It confirms what we're seeing. Where to put your stops and how to treat this price action. I love this, and I like I'm going to say it again. I like the fact that the pivots are static and it's not a fluctuating thing. My Brogdon formation that can expand. I'm sticking with the Brogdon formation because I know that's how price discovery works. It works like this. But if I also know with simple lines, simple pivots on the chart that's not cluttering up my screen, what I'm looking for, and then what the algos more than likely are be looking for as well, and what they're programming the machines to do, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? And you had a good comment with Gunny B over the weekend. He definitely said it to me. I'm pretty sure it was what you guys were talking to. But if I got two different strategies, I got pivots and I got the strat, and they're both confirming, there's all the reason in the world why wouldn't this work? You know what I mean? There's all reason to believe this is going to work. You know, and this is you got a lot of things working right now. You got my gears turning, man, and that's why it's all good that we're a little bit over, because go. You know, show me what you're showing here, because this is, I'm telling you, this is good. Now,
yeah, I mean, to me, the way I like to use the pivots, I mean, you can really plan a trade, and you can plan to have a successful trade that doesn't necessarily end in the trade reaching the full magnitude for that time frame.
Okay, yep. Stay right there. Hold that point, because I got a question in the chat. It says, V Star, I'm going to shorten your name down. The V Star says he's still confused on how to use pivots. Okay, so run through this one more time on how we would use pivots to trade along with the strat. And I'm going, kind of not necessarily wrap it up, but sum it up. And because me and you, we know what we're talking about. So let's, I don't know, maybe keep doing what you're doing, but simplify it a little bit more for the people on how we would use pivots with the strat. And I think you were going into that. I'm just, that came up in the chat immediately, and I think you were going to that point. So,
so this is how I might want to use this. Is so this is letter X. This is the daily pivots on Friday, and the first 2 hours of the session on Friday were very aggressive selling, almost across the market, and a lot of people aren't comfortable jumping in on that type of a fast move. And so you're like, well, let's just say that you were only allowed to trade X on Friday and you weren't allowed to trade any other symbol. Like, could you still make money? And I'm not comfortable jumping in on this aggressive selling. And so, if I pull up, these are the daily pivots for X. And I say, okay, I sold off from my center pivot. And remember, the center pivot is kind of what the market would consider fair price based on the previous day. Because we can see on the previous day, X traded in this range. So here's the center pivot, which was calculated off of all, the low, the high, and the close of the previous day. That sets the center pivot. So when you fail this center pivot on Friday morning, it's telling you that this market is seeking value lower, right? Obviously, it doesn't think that yesterday's price action is fair, right? The market is seeking value lower. And we know that we have these support pivots, and each time you get to a lower and lower support pivot, price is further and further extended based on what should be considered fair from the previous day. So you start looking at these levels and you say, well, where does it make sense that I might get a little bit of a bounce, right, in X? And so you see that you form a hammer on S2, and price kind of, skitters around, all day long. It's just kind of holding on to S2. It doesn't want to puke anymore, right? It's holding on to S2. S2 is kind of its life jacket, right? It doesn't really want to extend beyond that. So in the last 30 of the day, you get this this inside 30 and then a break to the upside. This is a valid trade to say, I'm going to take this. It's been hanging on S2, finding support here all day. I'm going to take this on the break of the 30, and my target, because there is no magnitude, right, on this 30. Right? Because it's basically an inside bar. So you could say, well, I've got like a pivot here. Maybe that could be some magnitude. I've got a pivot. These are strat pivots up here that can be magnitude. And these are moving me back in the direction of S1, right? So I'm coming off of S2. It's an inside 30. It's a 2, 1, 2 up. And it's taking me from S2 to S1, which is a valid long trade, based on kind of the pivot method. So you're marrying two concepts. If I didn't have these pivots on, I don't know where I am in space, right? Am I at any kind of an important level? And you don't have to believe in important levels, right? I mean, but I'm telling you, algorithms and buy-sell programs know where the pivot levels are, right? And they buy and sell. It's very obvious that this is a level that's being respected, all day long. And so if it's being respected all day long, and you get a reversal up and away from it, up toward another, upside target, this is just a trade that you can take
Yep.
if you want to trade that time frame.
And I'm going to say this, that hammer, I love those hammers in force. So it went 2-2 reversal on the hammer. Let's say, put my stop, give me a red line, a red horizontal line, and give it to me at the bottom of that green.
Give me green where?
You got your next bar, bottom of this bar. But not that, one more down. You got the 2 down red hammer.
Yep.
Yep. Give me this next green one right next to it. Yep. Give me a stop right there, because that's where I would put my stop. Okay. I'm getting in as soon as it goes 2-2 reversal up. Okay. Yep. There's my stop. And and there's my stop, and I'm watching this pivot. Okay. It's not breaking down any further down to S3. Okay. So it's clearly not close to my stop. And then, so I'm in. Okay. It's chopping around, but I'm still in, not hitting my stop. And then at the end of the day, just because of the wicks, I see a 3-1-2, but let's just say you said 2-1-2, 2-1-2 reversal to the upside, and then right at 22.61 add. That would be a perfect time to add right there, because that's what I got my marks, I got my lines marked. It hung around, and then here's another reversal back up. You know what I mean? That's a perfect time to add right there. I like this. I'm telling you, got my attention, Jam. It's been a while since I had an interview that really got. You got my gears turning, man. You got them going because this is going to help.
I would advise, don't start trading with these right away. I would just do this. Put them on your chart. Whatever trading program that you use, put them on your chart. Take your stock of choice, your tickers that you like to trade. Throw all the time frames on there, and then just look at how they act. Right? I mean, tell me that we don't go shooter off center pivot and go hammer off S1 pivot on like any ticker, that you can pull up. I mean, these are key levels like AMD. Like when you fail the center pivot for the day, you can just stay short all day, because unless it's going to come back up here and challenge, you know why it's happening.
I like it.
You can use it for ads, right? I mean, this is Coca-Cola hammered off of R1. It ripped through R3 like it wasn't even there. And so when you I like to also use kind of this concept of velocity. If you just rip through a pivot like it doesn't exist, I bet you anything that you're going to the next one, right? And so I like to use these for ads, stops, all that kind of stuff. And when you've got a runner like this that's ripping through like 5 levels of daily pivots, that's where you probably want to like kick it up and start trading off of like trading off of your weekly, right? Because you can see, once you got this break and Coca-Cola was playing around on its R1 kind of all week. Once this thing started screaming, like we knew where it was going, right? It screamed away from R1. We know it's going to R2. We know that that's what it wants to do. And then, furthermore, this is another great sign. This is monthly resistance right here. So on Friday, Coca-Cola ran up into monthly R1. Immediately, a half-hour algo sell program initiated off of that level. But then once you get the inside bar and you take that, I mean, it's saying I'm not stopping at R1, right? I'm going higher. I'm going, maybe up here to R2. Like this is a great trade that you can take, because if you turn these weekly and monthlies on, it's like, here's your place to get long off of an inside 30 right here off of monthly pivot. And they say, well, where is it going? Well, I got a monthly up here. I got a weekly pivot up here that I'm screaming toward. This is a great trade, right? Because it just gives you, because if you turn these off, like, do you want to get long Coca-Cola here? Like, yeah, maybe, but I don't know what's up here, right? It's recent highs, right? It could be a little miniature. I mean, you've got pivots from here from back in November, but it's kind of miniature exhaustion risk. But when you turn the pivots on, weekly pivots, monthly pivots, hey, all of a sudden I got kind of a target up here that makes sense, because these blue lines are weekly pivots. So this, technically speaking, I should bounce between these levels within a week. I haven't been up to R2 this week, but it sure as hell looks like I want to come up here and say hello to that, right? So all of a sudden you've just got these markers in space that kind of give you some market context. Like Does it make sense for Coca-Cola to come up to $56 today? Yes, it does, because I'm screaming off of a lower pivot, coming to visit a higher one on a weekly time frame. So I see this price action here. And again, if you like roll it back, before any of this played out, again, this is like a trade, right? You're saying I'm about to go inside super green bar from this important level to this important level. And if you turn those off, is it going to go? Maybe. I don't know. I've been in a million trades where it didn't go. But, if I've got pivot levels, I kind of got something to shoot for. I kind of know where I'm at in space. I know where I want to go in space. And that's kind of why I like them.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, good reference points. I like it a lot. Very good. Very good. We're like half an hour over. So you got one more. Someone in the chat wants you to go over DraftKings. We know DraftKings is going to the downside. I don't know why that's a thing, but considering what happened to me on Baba, or excuse me, in the chat last time with Baba, maybe somebody's trying to catch a knife on DraftKings. And then any other trades you want to go through, and we got to wrap this joker up. You got my attention, Jam. We might have you back on, because we did talk a lot of Strat stuff in the beginning. Strictly Strat. This is good. I like this.
For the person that, and I won't extend this, but for the person that asked about DraftKings, I'm just going to show the yearly pivots for DraftKings. These are on the yearly again. So these have been good for the whole year. These lines have been there since January 1st, 2021. They have not moved. And so if you just wanted to go short at resistance and long at support, and then once you failed that support, if you wanted to go short, again, I mean, you could have made a killing in DraftKings. Just again, go short, go long, go short.
Yep. And then, and you got that. You also got that shooter. I'm looking at that green shooter way up there. Right. Right here.
That happened.
Bam. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And that's perfect.
You have to go back, because that occurred in the last quarter, and to get these pivots, you can go back. Like, look, I can turn on the last, look at all these pivots, right? But look, I'm not even making this up. Look where this is. I'll just go back 2 quarters. Look where look where that shooter ticked. This is last quarter's resistance pivot, and it ticked it.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. So you can do these trades where you go from the yearly center, you can just buy that and then defend that line with a stop. And you say, well, where is this going to go? Well, maybe it's gonna come up and test the quarterly resistance, fail there, and look where DraftKings is getting some support now. It's getting some support on quarterly support, right? That also happens to be monthly support, right? So I got a monthly support pivot here. I've got a quarterly support pivot here. So I got 2 support pivots right on top of each other. Where do you think DraftKings, if it's going to give us a slight rebound, where might it rebound to? Well, I've got a monthly center pivot up here at $39. I've got a yearly center pivot up here at $40. Maybe DraftKings will, give us a bounce from 30 to 40. Hell, I'd buy some DraftKings here, put a stop at the low of the last week. If it fails, I'm gonna, if I get stopped out, I'm gonna lose $3. But if it goes, I'm gonna make 10. So there's your 3-to-1 risk to reward, just trading DraftKings off of a weekly chart. Now, if you didn't have the pivots on here, would you buy DraftKings here? Probably not, right? It looks terrible. But if you're looking at it from a pivot, there is a rationale for some support for the algos to trade off these pivot levels. And that's why I think you can get into some trades earlier by doing this, because if DraftKings gets a nice little rally these next 2 weeks off of this, what's that going to turn? That's just going to tighten this hammer up, right, on the monthly. And then if it takes off in January, new year, you could be looking at a nice 2-2 hammer month, but you're already in from down here off the pivot, right? Because you bought the pivot, so you can add on the monthly break, right? So I like these pivots because you can initiate small positions on the pivots
oftentimes you'll come crashing down into a pivot and bounce off it, and that's what cocks the hammer for the next week or the next month or the next year. And then when you get the actionable signal on that, you can add and have a little bit of a looser stop because you're already in from the pivot, right? So I like to kind of combo these things up like that.
That's fantastic, man. Fantastic. I love it. And I love your sticking to the actionable signals. Can you go, are you messing with the settings? I'm getting a lot of questions about settings, and we're going to wrap this joker up. Do you have any, did you do, after you put, what was it called? Pivot standard, pivot point?
Yeah. So if you want them on TradingView, I'll tell you what you want to do. So you want to go to, I'll just, so you want to go to indicators, you just type in pivot, you want pivot point standard. And you want to add that. I add it to my chart 5 times. So I do 5 clicks. You have to add it 5 separate times. And then once you do that, you come in, you click the gear, and you select your type of pivot. There are different types. There's fib pivots, there's Camarilla pivots, classic pivots. It's just different formulas that different floor traders back in like the 80s and 90s put these formulas together. They like to trade off of in the pits. These were started by pit traders back in the day. I use traditional. It's just, I find that price, people, you can change them and people say, oh, I like fit, whatever. At the end of the day, these are, they're just lines on a chart. We all know, lines in a chart are only as good as other people that are looking at them. But I stick to traditional. You can do your time frames. So look, you can do decade pivots. If you just want to take one trade every 10 years, you can do that. But yeah, I do the yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. I'll put those all on. I can flip them on and off, and I get all my lines, all my time frames, and I like to line them up, right? And if I can have like a yearly stacked on top of a quarterly, stacked on top of a monthly, that's a super strong level where I'm looking for a strat reversal on that. So I want as many pivot levels laying on top of each other, and that's really it. I turn them different colors. So I can tell them apart. I use black for my dailies. I use, blue for my weeklies and pink for my monthlies. So I don't have to always zoom out and look at, oh, is that my S1? Use the colors to kind of guide you. And then you can send them back in time. Like, again, this is for, DraftKings. But if you want to back test, don't take my word for it, man. If you want to back test this and see how these levels get respected, go down to like a 30 or a 15-minute chart and go to your daily and roll it back 20 days and just go back and look and say, what did DraftKings do every day on these daily pivots? Did it find support and resistance? Did it bounce back and forth between these? Yes, it did. Did it trade, short here, find support here? Yes, it did. Go back and look and see how it responds to these levels. Hammering off S2 is usually like a pretty good trade. Rejecting R1 is usually a pretty good trade. And when they chop, when you get these real choppy days, a lot of times they're chopping between these levels, right? The algos are just selling back and forth. So, don't take my word for it. You can back test. You can back test as much as you want. Like this is a perfect pivot day right here, right? 30-minute hammer off the S1 up to the center pivot. So yeah, go back and do your back testing. Don't take my word for it. Don't just start trading with these. Go back and see how they react.
I love it. One more question. What's the tool you're using to draw bargaining formations? The disjointed what? Just disjointed.
Disjoint channel. And it's
disjoint channel.
Yeah, if you come over here on the I think it's not under geometric shapes. It's which one is it? It's icon on one of these. I think one of these for certain. Yeah, it's in the drop menu with like the trend lines and the extended line for TradingView. It's the second one from the bottom. It's called disjoint channel. And I keep it up here. I keep all my favorite drawing tools up here on a little breakout bar, which is cool. So it's always on my chart. And yeah, if you just have like, if you only have a set of higher highs, like this is cool. I'll do this. Maybe this will work. Maybe it won't. We'll see. But if I erase the last couple sessions of DraftKings, and let's just say you were looking at this and you're like, okay, I got a higher high, right? But I I don't really know, where the bottom is, and maybe that's not a good example.
No, it's
But
perfect.
it allows you to draw like, yeah, like this is, this makes sense, or actually this is how it works better. This is the ultimate. You just have take this off, right? And now you're saying like, okay, I just made a lower low, right? But I don't know where the top is, right? Because I don't have anything, I don't have like, so, but I can just take this, connect these bottoms, and then like do something like that.
Perfect.
And so you're like, okay, now I got something, I got an inside 30 here. Like, where's it going? Like, maybe it's going to the top of this broadening formation, boom, top ticket. I mean,
yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I mean, this is how I like to have these broadening formations drawn on my charts before the day starts. So that if I get something like this, and it's, if we're 1 hour into the session and the market is strong, and I've got an inside 30 here, I've got the strong, right? I've got a target, maybe I've got a pivot or something up here too. Oh, look, I just hammered off of my weekly center pivot. I know that I'm eventually, and it, my R1 weekly lines up perfectly with my broadening formation. You think this is where it's going? Like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Broadening formations plus pivots are gold. Get entries on the strat reversals, because we know on the short term, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, we don't want to be taking continuity entries because those can easily blow back in your face. So yeah, I love lining this stuff up. It's great.
That's awesome. Fantastic, man. This is a really good one. We went super crazy over, but we had a great time. Thank you so much, Jam Trades, for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you. We can find you on Twitter. It's still Jam Trades. And I know you're in Alex Options Discord. Thank you so much. And you are in with us during the day with Rob Smith in the live trading room. Thank you so much. We see you in there. You're doing great things. This is amazing. You got my gears turning, man. And that's why I let you keep going. The chat is blowing up. This is one I'm going to be rewatching and rewatching. And just, hey, go watch episode 15 with Jam Trades. You're at, for example, I got in on a 2-2 reversal to the upside on a stock, and then it came back in on me. Where do I put my stops to take profit? You showed us how to do that. That's amazing. This is definitely gonna help with people with talking about these reversals fail all the time. No, the reversals, when they trigger, they hit. Now, when you put where to put your stops at and take your profit, that's the key. And I think these freaking pivots are going to be essential for that. And thank you so much, Jam.
All right, buddy. It was a good time chatting with you, and maybe we'll do it again someday. But everybody, good luck trading out there. Have fun with it. Don't take it too serious. It's supposed to be fun. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Thanks. And for everybody else out there, if you are wanting to get in with us in Rob's live trading room, set your group, go ahead. They let me give the go ahead to extend the Strat Soldier the Strat Soldier special from last month, but this month it's called Strat Soldier Xmas. Okay, Strat Soldier XMAS. That will give you Rob's full course on the Strat for $3.99. That'll give you 1 month with Rob in the live trading room, which also gives you 4 power hours with Rob, where he's teaching you. And you can ask him personal questions about how to trade the Strat, and he will teach you every Monday after the close. And then you get 1 month with Michael Dang. Remember, don't sleep on Michael Dang, because he's talking to Strat, he's talking these pivots, he's also talking technical analysis, he's in algo flow, and he's using it to line all up to put you in winning positions. And at the end of every one of his shows, that Dang Strat show, he's giving you a watch list for the next day. So, and it's giving you someone to talk to about your trades during that day too. So do not sleep on Michael Dang. If you are in Michael Dang, if you're in with Rob Smith right now and you have not tried Michael Dang, you can get it for $30 a month with basically an add-on with Michael Dang. So it's a lot cheaper if you are with Rob and then add on Michael Dang, because you can trade the price action, work with Rob all day long, and then here comes 4 p.m. Right after the close, and now you're with Michael Dang and say, hey, Michael Dang, hey, Dang, I was in this trade, it didn't work, and what happened? And he can tell you exactly what happened that day. And if it worked, awesome. Why, or if you got stopped out, what could have happened with you in that. So it gives you, there is always someone there with you to help you out here at Sip Your Group. Okay. I'm in the forums. I'm in Sip Your Group social. I'm on Twitter. I'm always out there trying to help you guys out there with all of this. This is the Strat Soldier with the Weekend Shift. Again, Strat Soldier XMAS, no spaces. $3.99 gives you the course with Rob, 1 month in Rob's live training room, and 1 month with Michael Dang. This is the Strat Soldier with the Weekend Shift, episode 15, Jam Trades. I'm telling you, this was a great one. Sorry it was so long, but I'm telling you, I think this is going to be good. I think I'm going to be using this as a teaching tool for other people coming to the Strat, and then also people that are having issues with their trade triggering and then talking about their trades failing. Now, hold on a minute. Let's look at these pivots and where you could have put your stop at and took your profits. Okay, so I'm being dead serious. I think this is great. It's fantastic. The Strat with the pivots. This is the Strat Soldier with the Weekend Shift. Thank you so much for being here. Peace.